Phase. What third phase.
Blake Cousins here. Welcome back, everybody, from around the world. We're doing the live show. It's that time. People to call in, share your UFO experience. It's October 10th, 2020. A lot of stuff has been happening this week. If you haven't seen our past uploads on YouTube, we've got a lot of UFO sightings that have just come in. So make sure you go back to the archive and take a look at that. But right now, again, it's October 10th, 2020. We're opening up the phone lines. We do this. We let the people come in. I think we're the only outlet in the world that basically just opens up the phone lines raw and let people share their stories. And what we're looking for is people to call in. We only have a limited time, and we want people to share their stories in basically 5 minutes or less. And if there's any follow-up questions, we'll get to it. We just want to make sure we can get to as many people in this episode as much as possible, because there's things happening right now. The phenomenon is real. UFOs are on the rise, and I'm sure a lot of people have got a lot of stories to tell tonight. So buckle up, everybody. It's Blake Cousins, Third Phase of the Moon. We're going to get to it right now. I see that people are already standing on by right now, so let's just start opening up the phone lines. When I get to you, I'm going to call out your area code number, and then tell us where you're from and what's your name. So let's start it off right now. Let's go to area code 818. You're live on Third Phase of the Moon. Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Me? Landon?
Good. Where are you calling in from? You're a little soft. Go ahead.
Hello? Can you hear me?
You're coming in super soft. You're going to have to speak up.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm coming in from Houston, Texas.
All right. I think I'm getting you pretty clear now. Houston, Texas. Welcome. You're calling in from Texas. I know that's a hot spot. Did you experience something over there recently? What do you got for us?
Well, yeah, I'm originally from here, but I spent 12 years out in Los Angeles, so not really familiar, not really a focus of my attention, but I've been back in Houston for 8 years, and I've been an Uber driver for about 2 years, and I found after about 4 or 5 months that the best way to make money is to actually work overnight. And so I started working overnight, and I started driving at times when most people obviously are asleep. And I started noticing that between the hours of about 4:30, maybe 4:15 a.m.-ish, and about 5:30 a.m.-ish, pretty much the times when most people are asleep, anytime I was traveling in the direction of what I didn't even realize was NASA, Pasadena, NASA Road 1 and all that. Houston is a very storm-active area. We all know that. There were many nights when there were no storms, clear skies. You could check any Doppler, whatever, and I'm sitting here driving towards the southeast on a ride with a passenger in the car, and all I saw in the sky was lights, like lightning pretty much, but no sound at all. And at the same time, every color you can imagine, not just one color, like yellow, red, very vibrant, very obvious colors. And I chalked it up to just, it's whatever, just trying to be reasonable. But then every single time, it didn't matter if it was winter, spring, fall, summer, it didn't matter if there were weather patterns, no weather pattern, it didn't matter. It just, every single night between that time, you can come here tonight, and if you go in that direction, I promise you on my life, you will see the same thing, and you won't hear a thing. And it was kind of crazy because, you know, you got to challenge yourself because you don't know if it's just you. You don't want to be crazy. But I'm an Uber driver. So every single person in my car is a random person. And if you know about the scientific method, you know that that just makes it true. I mean, there were certain times I would intentionally go in that direction, not actually taking the path that I was supposed to, math-wise, just to see if they would see it, and they always pointed out. Every single time. They're like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? And
you know, this is it's really cool. It's really cool when you got these people in your vehicle, you're driving them around and they're experiencing the same thing. You're saying this happens every night. You've had multiple witnesses experience this with you. Again, if this is happening every single night, and we're just going to have to tell everybody, where are you, in what direction, and are you going to be videotaping this? I want to see this video.
Okay, specifically and very irresponsibly on my behalf, I don't have webcams in my car. I don't have cams in my car or whatever. But in terms of the direction, I'm in southwest Houston, a little bit more west than south. And specifically, I'm in Alief, which you can research that on your own. But the West Park Toll Road is obviously a toll road. People pay for it, but it's a direct shot in terms of where it's looking at towards southeast Houston, which is, it's actually slightly less if you research where NASA's at, and obviously we know about Elon Musk, you know, moving more stuff here, but he's had SpaceX there and beyond my depth, but south from southwest Houston, if you're looking in the direction of southeast Houston.
So you're saying about
downtown,
3 or 4 in the morning this is happening, between 3 and 6 in the morning?
Not 3, my time, Central Standard, which you guys are, I think, six hours off over there in Hawaii. It's actually specifically, and this is one thing that I've really gotten good at, it's between about 4:25 a.m. and 5:20 a.m. It's kind of it's that time when people that are night owls go to sleep anyway, and people that are morning people are still asleep. So it's kind of like that little gap.
Sure, I got it. It's not everybody's up at that time, but you know, if this is happening every single day, you got to film it. You don't need a car cam. I'm sure you got an iPhone, and if anybody, you're driving them around, they're experiencing it, tell them to film it, upload it to YouTube. I want to see this stuff. Sounds interesting. Whatever's going on over there in Houston, you got the directions, everybody. You got the time. If this is happening every night, why don't everybody go out there tomorrow morning, take a look in that direction if you're within the area, and you guys let me know what's going on. I want to thank the caller in from Texas. We got to get to more calls. Things are going on in the skies right now, as apparently this caller just stated. So we're going to get to even more calls. Let's just roll it. Let's go to area code 410. You're live, Third Phase Moon. How you doing tonight?
Doing okay. How you guys doing?
Good. Where are you calling in from?
Calling in from Maryland. This is the Truth.
Hey, Truth, what do you got? You got some news for us? Anything breaking? What's going on here?
Yeah, guys. It's a lot that's been going on in Maryland, and, you know, of course, the Truth is still on his job, so I've captured it. Okay, a lot of it. And I have a YouTube channel I'd like you guys to go to and check out as soon as you possibly can.
You got a YouTube channel with some UFO videos? Let's hear it.
Yes, sir. It's going to be TUFFTYLER, and you're going to see a red emblem. You're going to see some Tupac videos in there, you know, because that's my man. He's still the best that ever did it. Much love to Tupac. And you're also going to see a few videos in there that you guys can relate to, because I also uploaded you guys as well. No disrespect. I love you guys. We've been allies for years. But the story that you guys actually presented on this particular video, you guys were in Hawaii. And I wanted an update on those 15 kids that were missing, guys.
I'm not quite getting it. You're kind of breaking up. You're saying something. Go ahead. Say that again. Sorry, you broke up on that.
Yeah, I was trying to. My phone may be a little off. I was trying to get you guys to give us an update on those 15 kids that went missing in Hawaii.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is an update on that. Truth, it is interesting what happened. I think a lot of kids are depressed. Running away from home, and a lot of them seem to be runaways, and they found a lot of them, and they've been reunited. But there has been some strangeness going around with missing kids on the island. Not sure what it's about. There's strange people going around lurking, and it's very scary, but a lot of them turned out to be runaways. This is interesting. People want to know what's going on. There's a lot of questions coming in. That's the update, Truth. You go check out his channel. He told it to you on YouTube. He's got some UFO videos. Guys, go check it out. Let's go to this. It looks like we got somebody calling in from another country. It's area code 491. Let's see where we're going to right now. Third phase of the moon. We're broadcasting to the world, and we're opening up the lines. We want to hear people's stories. 491. You there? How you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm good.
All right. Hey, welcome to the show. Where are you calling in from?
Thank you. From Germany, Aachen.
Well, we got fans calling all the way from Germany. Welcome to the show. Go ahead. What's on your mind? Thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase. Go ahead.
Yes. This was in 2007. I was outside with my friends. We were going around the neighborhood, and then all of a sudden the dog starts barking. I looked over, and I looked up in the sky, and I saw 3 lines in blue, pulsating, in mid-air, maybe 200 or 300 feet above the ground. And a few seconds later, I was running inside to my mom and dad, and my sister was also there. Then I opened my window for my room. I looked outside and saw a bright light in these 3 blue lines. Each line was separated by 100 feet, maybe, and each line was 100 feet tall. And these lines were pulsating, and this bright light came out of it. And I remember nothing after that.
So do you think you may have had some missing time? When did you regain consciousness or memory of oneself? You say you don't remember anything afterwards. When did you realize something happened?
The next thing I know was my dad was downstairs. I was going to him and was asking him what he was doing, and he told me I should go away. And then I was going outside, and then I don't know how I got there or anything. And my sister was also next to me, and she was crying, oh my God, and run in her room and locked her door. This was it.
This is amazing. So you and your sister both experienced it. It sounded like your sister kind of went into a panic of what you guys were experiencing, what you were witnessing, and then all of a sudden you don't know what happened. It seems like you had missing time. How long do you think you guys had some missing time for? You ended up?
Don't know for sure. Maybe an hour or half an hour. Don't know. Don't look at the clock. Definitely was strange.
That's great. It's an amazing thing. You're calling us from Germany. You're telling us this story. Go ahead. What do you think it was? Do you think it's military, extraterrestrial? Can you explain what the craft looked like a little bit? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was bright light and smoke and dusk around it. I didn't see it. Every time I want to remember it, it's all blurry. I can't remember it fully. every time I go back in my mind, I can't remember it. It's all blurry. When I look at the object from my room outside.
So you see this object, it returns to your room all the time, is what you're saying?
No, sorry, break. These 3 blue lines were in the sky, pulsating, maybe a few minutes, and then it pops a white light out, and dusk came from it. I don't see a craft or anything. I only saw these 3 blue lines and a white light and this smoke all around it. I didn't see a craft. I think maybe it was a portal opening.
Interesting.
That's
It's
what I
like
think.
a massive, it's a bright light. It's shooting out a beam of light at you. Let me ask you, what does your sister think? She was scared. It sounded like your sister was scared. She doesn't remember anything from the event either?
Yeah, I asked her and she said, don't ask me. She won't talk about it. But my mom was also there and she remembers it to this day. She knows it also.
Yes. You know, there's this phenomenon. Obviously, people are taken aboard possible alien craft. They have missing time, and a lot of these people can't remember what happened. And sometimes they could recall their memories through a therapy called hypnotic regression. But you'd have to find a hypnotic regression expert and maybe go under some kind of therapy on that and see if you could recall what really went on. But it sounds like you guys might have been abducted. It sounds like you guys have been taken. And even to this day, your sister obviously knows what happened, but she's too afraid to discuss it. I don't blame her sometimes. This is pretty intense stuff.
Yeah. So I was shocked after that. I don't do a normal job or anything. My whole life I'm researching and nothing else, bro.
Well, thanks so much for calling in all the way from Germany, telling us your story. I imagine having an experience like this, you're not alone. Once you have this, you want to find out the answer, what really went on. I hope you could find out the answers. I hope we could bring you the answers. I believe something happened to you, and it's a phenomenon. It happens to millions around the world. But, you know, not everybody's brave enough like yourself to come forward and talk about it. Appreciate the call, man. You be safe over there.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, this is great. We open up the phone lines, people call in, and then we get to share their stories to the world. Over the past few days, we've had over 150,000 views on just our radio shows. So people are wanting to listen to this stuff, and people want to share their stories, and that's what's so great about this forum we have known as Third Phase of Moon. And I'm Blake Cousins, and I'm happy to do this. It's very humbling. You guys ready for another call? Give us a big thumbs up if you're listening to this on the YouTube premiere. Let's roll. Let's go to area code 315. 315 made it to the show. Congratulations. Where are you calling in from? Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I'm calling in from Western New York.
Yes. Did you call in last week, or did you? Are you a first-time caller? Go ahead.
No, I'm a first-time caller.
All right. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind? You experienced something? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. This was in 1994 about. I was working as a security guard at the airport in Syracuse, New York, and my husband was also a security guard at that time. And I walked out into the parking lot, and on top of a building, there was a pulsating orb, and it was changing colors, and he came about midnight to pick me up, and I pointed it out to him. So we kind of drove over to that direction, and we were just watching it, and it was more than pulsating. It was just kind of expanding and contracting and changing colors. And then we both had this feeling that it was kind of observing us, and we took off because we got scared at that point. And um, the next day when I came in, there was a police tape all over the top of that building, and we don't know what it is, and that's about all I did experience. But it was a very strange object that was up there, and of course we didn't hear anything in the news or anything like that. But it was a very strange phenomenon.
Sure, it sounds like you guys were definitely concerned. You guys are security guards. You guys deal with things. You're at an airport. You deal with, the worst of the worst. But you're afraid of this orb light. Can you tell me how in close proximity did it get to you guys?
Well, it was on top of a building that was probably, I think it was 3 stories high. So, and we were on the street level. And it wasn't really real large. It was probably the size of a couple vehicles, or maybe like the size of a bus. And it just sat there, and it was we couldn't actually see a shape. It was kind of just mostly light. It was just lights that were changing colors, and it just sat there and pulsated. And it wasn't there the next day. It wasn't there when I came into work that night. It just showed up, and I know that they have had reports of other UFOs at the airport over the years. But
that's
so
amazing.
We were fairly close, but it was just we just got the feeling that we needed to get out of there. It was a little bit scary.
It's very interesting because you listened to the last caller, I'm sure, from Germany, and it's crazy because you guys, it's the exact same thing that you're describing as what he experienced. This orb of light really didn't have any shape or reason about it except that it was an orb of light, and it changed colors, and it hovered there. Well, there's something going on. You guys seem to, again, be intimidated by this thing. If this thing...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy. So what happened? You said something was on top of that building the next day. What was that again?
So when we drove in, there was police tape all over the top of that building, like they had been bordered off. And but we didn't hear anything or know anything about that. But obviously something happened, and it was cordoned off.
Wow, it's like almost straight out of the E.T. movie. So you witness this thing, come back the next day, and then there's police tape all around this. There's a mystery of what actually happened. So none of you, you're the security over there at the airport. I'm sure you asked around, like, what the heck happened above that building? What's up with the police tape? Any response back?
Correct. No, there was, we couldn't find out anything about it. Nobody knew anything about it. It was just, they just acted like there was nothing going on, that, I think they said something about, there was access to that top of the building. We didn't want anybody to fall off or something like that, but I know that police tape wasn't there the day before. So anyway, it was just really strange. We left, and we just had this very strange feeling for weeks after that.
Yeah, I know what it feels
just
like.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You experience the phenomenon. There's something that triggers in your brain, and you'll never be the same. And I think it's in a good way. You want those triggers. So good for you. I appreciate it. Amazing story. Crazy. Appreciate it so much. Thanks for calling in.
Well, thanks for having the show. We appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you.
We
wouldn't have a show like this. Thanks so much. Wow, this is amazing. We're opening up the lines. People are telling their stories. Obviously, these people aren't paid actors. Some people say we pay these people to call in, or they're my friends telling their stories. Look, I don't know any of these people. I just open up the lines, and they want to tell their story too. I guess me, the world, I don't know. We're just trying to get the information out. And it's amazing, these stories, how close they relate with one another, this phenomenon. The two callers describe the exact same thing. these people aren't just seeing things. They're not hallucinating. They have their husbands or sisters next to them. What's going on here, guys? What's really going on? There's something huge. You guys ready for the next phone call? Well, I want you guys to definitely give a big thumbs up. We appreciate all the big super chats coming in. You guys rock over there. Now, I have an area code 720 standing by, so I'm going to get to area code 720 and see what they got to say. Welcome to the show. Where are you calling in from? Go ahead.
Hello?
Welcome to
Can
the show.
you hear me?
How you doing? Where are you calling in from?
Colorado?
Well, thanks for calling in. We're opening up the lines. People got a lot on their mind. What's on your thoughts tonight? Go ahead.
I've had several experiences. One of them was with my son in 2006. I was driving him to school, and a green orb appeared right beside us at a red light. Our truck stopped. The radio turned off. It sat there. It was the most beautiful emerald green orb I've ever seen in my life. And I waved at it. My son was going, "Mom, what is that?" And I go, "It's our friends." And just as I said that, it took off over what we call the hogback in Colorado. And then the truck started up again, and the radio turned back on, and the radio show was 103.5 on the dial, and they were getting hammered with phone calls that people seen it, described our vehicle, the whole thing, and all the way to getting my son to school. My son didn't say a word. I was elated with the experience. And then on the way home from taking my son to school, the radio came on. The host, which was Lewis and Floorwax, they came on and they said, "We can no longer take any more phone calls. NASA informed us it was a comet. Comets do not hover by a vehicle, and everyone knows what a comet does." And so therefore, that was one of the experiences. When I was 8 years old, I seen
Hold on.
airplane.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Wait. Let's get to your next experience in just a moment. But this is kind of incredible. It sounds like there's a cover-up. Trying to make people believe that this is a comet versus exactly what you're stating to me. I'll take your word for it over this official word, in my opinion, including
Absolutely.
that you also had your son there. It's amazing. But tell me, you've obviously watched the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind when the craft went over Richard Dreyfuss's truck and the power went down.
Yes.
When the craft left it, what did you think of that? Did you feel like you were like experiencing this Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Spielberg based this stuff on true events.
Absolutely. Our vehicle didn't shudder and shake like it did on the movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but it was an experience that the feeling, the emotions were all positive and uplifting and full of life. It was just so positive. It gives me chills now even to talk about it. It was awesome.
I'd imagine. I know what it feels like. It gives me chills just listening to it. It's insane. Okay, we have to get to other callers, but we have a little time. Let's hear your second experience. Go ahead.
I was 8 years old. I was in my backyard with a bunch of kids that were my cousins, and a plane, I love planes, was watching it. A saucer came in behind it. It shot two beams to the cockpit, and the whole plane and the saucer disappeared in front of my eyes and my cousin's eyes. And I ran into the house, told my mom, and she didn't believe me at first. And then the next day, there was a newspaper article that was put out that a plane that was supposed to have landed at Stapleton International Airport in Denver was diverted to Colorado Springs.
Okay, this is great. You have this documentation of these encounters that you had, official word, and you're witnessing this with your own eyes. There's something strange. I don't know what that pilot experience. I wish we could find out what that he must have. So you say a metallic flying saucer approached this airplane. Was it like a Cessna, or what kind of a airplane was it?
It would have been like a 727 at that time, or a D10. I couldn't give you an exact because, of course, at that time I was only 8. But that would be the appropriate plane for that time period.
It sounds like you know your aircraft pretty well at this point. Right now, you're telling us. That's the people that are calling in. They're so intelligent, articulate. It's amazing that we open up the lines. We don't get any trolls. We don't get anybody except just these genuine stories, and it's fascinating to me. I wish I could be next to everybody that has these experiences. And my brother and I, we'd be filming the heck out of this. We'd be showing everybody this on Third Phase of the Moon. But yeah, this is a long time ago. Not everybody had cameras. You're 8 years old at the time. Obviously, we know the story behind that. But wow, you're so lucky to have these experiences. Just yourself what's going on. That there is something going on. There is a phenomenon, and hey, appreciate it.
Well,
I got to get to other callers. Maybe you could call in for another of your experiences.
Thank you for your show. Thank you for your show. You keep up the good work, guys. You're doing a wonderful job, and God bless.
Wow, God bless you. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. My brother and I are humbled just by talking to the people like we do. Are you guys enjoying this in the premiere on live YouTube right now? If you are, I implore you to hit that thumbs up. See if it works. Break it, do whatever you got to do. Gently tap it. I don't care. Just show some support. Thanks so much, everybody. Now, we even have more callers, and I'm getting kind of the backlog. There's so many. We'll try to get to as many as possible in the next, about 20 minutes or so. So, I don't know. Did I get to area code 601? I think that's a brand new caller. 601 is on the line, and I'm sure they got something to share. Welcome to Third Phase.
Hey, Blake. You there?
Yep. How you doing today?
I'm great. My name's Pat McGinnis. I'm in Waynesboro, Mississippi. And this is out in the country. And I like looking at the stars at night and everything. So we have no, city lights that's blocking the stuff. I can see the skies as long as the planes ain't flew over and all the stuff comes out. And I seen a UFO a couple months ago. It came straight from the west. It was a white light, and I was looking at it. I'm in the front yard. I thought it was a plane. And then it did a big curve, and I was like, well, maybe he's changing direction. Well, he went from the west, came towards me, did a big curve, and then all of a sudden it was shot north, 100, just thousands of miles an hour. And I was like, man, that's crazy. But the thing about it is, I was born in 1970. We lived down on the Ocean Springs Beach, the furthest tip on Ocean Springs Beach. I could see Ingle shipyards in Pascagoula, okay? Pascagoula is where these guys got abducted or something a long time ago. The stories are on the internet, and I think one of them killed himself after the thing. Anyways, we lived in Ocean Springs when I was about 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, okay? We'd always go sit on the porch so we could watch the ocean. And one night my dad came in. He's like, hey, y'all come out here and look. We had 3 television channels during that time in 1977 and 78. So, we love looking at the stars. We look out towards the water, and we see these 3 circles, kind of like little moons, but they were in a formation. You had 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom. And then they would turn sideways. Like if you took a quarter and eased it down sideways, they would disappear. Then they would come back. These 3 circles in the sky, orbs. And at 7 years old, 8 years old, you don't think nothing about it. Okay, my family was really poor when we bought that beach house because it was so far away from everything, nobody wanted to live there. There was a couple other homes that were vacation homes, and, people would come in the summertime. So there was only 3 or 4. The only people that lived there full-time was us because this was like a real out in the rural area. Nobody wanted to live there, just on the beach. And, okay, you had a beach in front of you, a little strip of land, and then there was a swamp behind you. So, really, you have nothing to do at that time. So, we look out there, we see these 3 orbs. Now, there's a lot of military around Biloxi and Pascagoula, because Pascagoula, they have Ingle Shipyard, and that's where they build the big destroyers. I seen the U.S. Ronald Reagan, christened by Nancy Reagan. But anyways, we watched these orbs, and they were in formation. They did a few things, but then they sped off like the thing I seen up here in Waynesboro, Mississippi. So I just want to tell you guys, there's something out there. Watch the skies at night if you got a clear view, because there's crazy stuff going on. If I look towards the west at night, I see the red, blue, and green star. It flashes sometimes. And I sit there and watch and watch and watch. I hear the other callers talking about they see this red, blue, green phenomenon. Just go out at night and watch the skies. I just want to get in touch with you and your brother and let y'all know what's going on in other parts of the world.
You know, it's great. We're getting calls from Mississippi, Germany, all over the planet right now just because we're opening up the lines. I appreciate you calling in. It's weird because, you know, it happens at this young age, too. It's like 8 years old, even younger. But, you know, I think our minds are a little bit more open when we're younger, and I think we just see things differently, and we pick up on this. Thanks so much for calling in. Appreciate it, man, and be safe out there.
Yeah, thanks y'all guys. Keep up the good work. You know, but tell everybody, look at the skies tonight. Go out and do it.
That's right. Everybody, apparently this phenomenon is happening every single day, every day, or every night. You go out there, you take a look at certain things, and things will stand out. Things will be unusual in certain things. Don't dismiss it as natural. Keep an eye on things, guys. Things are happening, and as we can see, the phone callers have a lot to tell us tonight. So we're even going to get to more callers right now. Give us a big thumbs up. Let's go to area code 985. 985 calling in. Welcome to the show. Where are you calling in from?
Slidell, Louisiana. It's southeast Louisiana.
Appreciate it. Go ahead. Sounds like you got something you want to say.
Oh yeah. This has lived with me all of my life. In 1996, my dear friend Tina, who was my babysitter as a little girl, suddenly died. And I was very close to her and her husband. And they lived on a little parcel of land in front of nothing but pasture in State Line, Mississippi. He called me up and he said, I can't do it. I can't pack up her stuff. Can you come help me? So I booked up there, and he had this beautiful telescope. And we'd go out at night on the back deck, and we'd plot satellites. We'd find them, and we'd look at satellites. And when we had a good view at a planet that night, we'd set up the telescope, and we'd look at the planet. And this particular night, we had a good view of Saturn. And I'm looking at Saturn, and I see this bright thing, just bright orange and red. And it's coming towards us, and I'm thinking, asteroid, meteorite, right? So I say, hey, Ron, I think we have a meteorite heading this way. Come take a look. And he looks in the telescope, and he looks up, and he goes, that's not a meteorite. He turned bright white. He just went pale. And I said, what are you talking about? And we watched this very large, it was long like a saucer, but it wasn't saucer-shaped, with like a little lip on the top, come down into the pasture in the field no more than 50 yards away from us, and it was huge. It glowed bright red, and it would oscillate to orange, and bright orange. We were terrified, but we couldn't look away. And this thing all of a sudden rose slowly, and it started to move fairly quickly in over the pasture. We both started to shake, and I'm going to tell you, we had to change our clothes. Okay, ran to the truck, but we changed our clothes when we came home. We were terrified. We got into the truck. And we were driving as fast as we could to anywhere where there was people, because this is very rural and nothing's really open at that time. You had to find a Waffle House or whatever. I don't think we stopped shaking for 3 days. We didn't have any loss of time or anything. It was something that wasn't from this world. But let me back up just a moment. About time we hit the front of the property and got into the truck, the military, you could hear the jets and helicopters right over our heads. Now, my father, from my grandfather all the way to today, my family's military. 2 of them were Air Force. So I know my military helicopters. And they were military helicopters fly directly over the property over our heads in the direction of this object. And you could hear the jets. And if you know anything about this area, you have a lot of bases. You have them in Pensacola, you have them in Louisiana, you have them in Texas, you have them all around you, so they can get to you within a split second. I mean, they can traverse a lot of property. But it is always, I'm so affected by this because, you know, it was real. And I experienced it. And no one ever believed us. And it was terrifying but exhilarating all at the same time. I just don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, let me ask you this. If you could take it back, would you have not wanted the experience?
Oh, no. I'd love to see it again. I obviously, the technology is so advanced that if they wanted to harm us, they would have. They could have. So I don't think that's what it is. If they wanted to take my life or take us, they would have, but they didn't. So yes, I would love to experience it again. I'd love to see it again. I own a telescope now.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Isn't it amazing that you guys are amateur astronomers in your own way, looking at the planet. And then this thing comes into the field of view, and then it all leads to this event. It comes down. Now you have the military in basically trying to intercept this thing. It seems that something happened, and it just happened. I don't know. Do you think just you looking out through your telescope, looking at the stars?
They're more intelligent than we are. So they have to be if they have this technology. If you want to go biblical with this, if you look in the Judeo-Christian Bible, God tells us He's produced life outside of Earth. So basically, if you want to go biblical, you can go biblical, or you can look at it as we have a trillion planets out there. There's life somewhere.
Yeah, what's the odds? The odds are the odds are most likely that we're not alone. Obviously, incredible calls coming in. I want to ask everybody in the audience what you guys would think. Do you want the experience? You just heard from this caller that's calling in, and appreciate that call in. It's amazing. People have these experiences, and what's amazing as well is that they're not alone. They're, again, with their husband or wife or sister, brother. They're experiencing it with other people. It's just not a figment of one's imagination, but it's impossible to have a figment of two imaginations, such as a hallucination. It just doesn't work that way. It's pretty amazing. And they were frightened to death, it sounds like, shaken up for a few days, but the experiencer would hope to have that experience again. I don't blame them. It is an amazing experience. We know ourselves, my brother and I, we've had some really close encounters, and they stick with you for a good couple weeks, embedded in your mind. Okay, I got let's see, an anonymous caller. It looks like it's an unlisted caller. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, roll the dice, and see what we got here. It's the line is open. Are you there? Hello?
Hello. How you doing?
Doing good. Welcome to the show. Where are you calling in from?
Calling in from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. This is the truth. And I'm calling in, guys, because, I had another experience, and this all connects, and that's how God is so great. It's connected. The guy said something about the UFO showing up from a north direction. And what I've come to realize with my experiences is a lot of UFOs show up from a northwesterly direction, the real ones. You may want to check into that, the coordinates. You can check it on your phone. Most of the ones that I got, most of them show up from a northwesterly direction. And that was a time back in 2008, myself, a couple of my friends, comrades, sisters, we was working on my aunt's roof, doing some roofing work. And it was winding down the end of the day. People was ready to get off and stuff. So me and my uncle was left to clean up the rest of the mess. So we decided that we would go ahead and finish up the work first before we cleaned up. So we was using a ladder. I guess it was about maybe 30 or 40 feet up the roof. And me, myself, even though I've gotten on airplanes, I don't really like heights. I don't really like heights a whole lot. So anyway, I went to climb up the ladder first so I could get up there and be ready for him. And halfway up the ladder, for some reason, I felt uncomfortable, and he asked me to come down. So I went down, and he proceeded to go up. As he's going up the ladder, I'm looking, again, in the northwesterly direction, and I'm at Park Heights, which is in northwest Baltimore at the time. And I see a light appear, like a star, and then another light appeared under that, and then another light appeared under that, and all three lights appeared simultaneously, and all three were white. Now, as I'm seeing this, by now he's at the top, he's on the roof, so he's got a great angle as to where I'm looking, and I'm explaining to him, oh my God, do you see those lights that just showed up? So the lights, as we're watching them, all three turned into three metallic discs and flew across the sky. And it was several people out there. He saw him, I saw him, and right then we flabbergasted. We're like, oh my God, I can't believe this, And the neighbors came out next door, and they're like, what you guys are looking at? And we showed them. And all three discs flew across the sky in a formation, right? So about 5 minutes after that, a United States jet came within the direction that the UFOs flew in, but it came from the direction from the left, and the UFOs had flew off towards the northwest. And this was in broad daylight, guys, and, the troopers had a lot of real experiences, and, I don't ever have a problem with calling in, letting you guys in the world know what's going on, but these cases relate. That's the point that I'm trying to make. They relate, and it relates to a subject that we're about to kick the door down with, guys, because we're going to get disclosure. We're going to get it because we're getting a little bit, at a time. It's coming out a little bit here, a little bit there. And we don't want to give the people too much, with the world be under the pressure that it's under right now. But just think about it, guys. All the effort we've been putting in for all these years is about to pay off. And we're seeing it every single day. They had UFOs on Fox News, Tucker Carlton. I'm not a fan of Fox News. I'm really not. But these guys are talking about UFOs on a worldwide basis now and on the regular. And y'all remember back in the day, like back in the 80s and the late 70s, you could rarely find a show on UFOs. And when it was one on, they only talked about Roswell. So it all relates. We know Roswell happened. We know it happened. And a lot of these cases that people are talking about on a daily basis are true. The orbs, the lights, the colors, I've also seen several. I also have several on film that match up with what they're saying.
It's all
real,
Truth.
guys.
You're exactly right. It's really happening, and I appreciate the call. And I want to get to one last caller before the show ends. But Truth, you say what you're saying is exactly right. And the major media is finally talking about it, but there's some still. They're only talking to a certain faction of the community. We've reached out to the major media, telling them we've got the best UFO videos with the testimony from around the world, and they don't want to touch us with a 10-foot pole. I'm sure they don't want any of it. They just want their narrative. And their narrative, unfortunately, is to blame everything on China and Russia, and it's a threat, everything's a threat. And no, it's not. And it's cool that you're calling in, telling us your story, too, with your fellow construction workers while you're putting up the roof, witnessing this. So, people are witnessing, again, like I said, multiple eyewitnesses, not just one. Truth,
that's right.
Keep in touch. Thanks for calling in, man.
Much love, guys. Keep it up.
Yep, we'll do. There's a lot of things coming out. Obviously, I think disclosure might be around the corner. That's why we have a new documentary coming out, hopefully by the end of the year. Look for it. We're going to be putting out some trailers and some behind the scenes here very shortly on Third Phase Moon. The name of the documentary is Countdown to Disclosure, the truth behind the technology of the Space Force. But that's going to be coming up, so everybody stay tuned for that. It's going to be the biggest, in my opinion, documentary in regards to that subject matter to hit the world. So we're happy to be bringing that here shortly. Now, we got time for one more caller. I hope it's a good one. People are calling in, and we got to tell their story. So we're going to be doing these radio shows a little bit more often. So not to worry. If you didn't make it in this show, we'll be opening up the lines here soon enough. Make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell to be notified. Area code 804. You're live, Third Phase Moon. How you doing tonight? $804, you there? 804 walked away from the phone line. Let's see. Let's get to another caller. I want to bring in callers that I let's see. Did we get to area code 518? Let's try 518. 518.
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome to
My name's Rodney Boyer.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Good, Blake. I want to tell you guys this is the best thing you guys have done in quite a while. This radio show is top-notch, in my opinion.
Thank you.
There's an experience. I've had quite a few around my, obviously, as a lot of people say, but there's one in particular. I actually go out night sky watching, and I was walking out in my backyard, and I had my phone ready, which is kind of not the best camera, but I had it ready, and what I saw in the sky, it just caught my eye. It looked like a regular star. It was right below the Big Dipper, and this star got so bright, and I started recording. I'm watching it. I'm getting really excited on the phone, and I'm yelling to my girlfriend to come outside and take a look at this, and it got so bright, and it starts flying to the right-hand side, but it's kind of hard to get perspective when you're looking at a black sky to, how far it's moving and how big it is. But this thing was really high up, and what it actually did was it came right up behind a commercial aircraft, and I know everybody, the pilots, and whoever else was on that plane, had to had seen this light. It was pretty insane. When it came up behind the commercial plane, it disappeared. I don't know if it disappeared or not, but the light dimmed right completely out. But my concern was, I think I accidentally erased it off my phone. It went to my trash can on my phone, and it wasn't something I did on purpose because I really wanted to keep that video. But I know sometimes you can recover things off your trash can on your phone, so I haven't touched anything because I don't know if I'm going to lose that if I keep messing around or what could happen. Do you know anything about that, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. It's not lost. You actually can recover it. You might want to call up the manufacturer of the phone or look up any kind of how-to on YouTube on how to recover lost files on your phone. I know if you keep filming, there could be some issues that it might erase your last file. I don't want to give you any advice. I don't want to have you lose that footage, but I know we've recovered videos while we're always on making our shoots on the location, but we got to make room on the phone, and Brent accidentally deleted one of the cuts, and we're panicking. Oh my God. It was Edgar Mitchell. That's what it was. Edgar Mitchell, the interview, his last interview before he passed away, we erased it by accident, but thank God we're able to recover it.
That's pretty heavy stuff right there, boy. I'm in upstate New York. I'm in a little town called Rural Grove, and I don't know how else to say this, but whatever this is that's been happening around me, it seems to be like consciously connected somehow. There was like a month and a half, 2 months ago, I've had these numbers in my head my whole life. I've never played the lotto. I have proof of this. I have proof of a lot of things. And the numbers 316 came up in my head. I went and played the lotto, and I didn't just play one ticket. I had two of them. And they both hit. They both hit. And it's just
wow.
like something speaking to me. You know, it's like something's like there. I don't know where it's coming from or why. There's a few weird things that happened. I've had knocks on my door in the middle of the night. I go outside. I'm in the country. Sometimes I've gone out with a gun looking around, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, there's nothing there. But the one thing I want to tell everybody to do, anybody that's having these experiences, just document it. Write down the date, write down the time, write down the description of what's going on. I mean, it's the most intelligent thing you can do. And also, I don't want to take up anybody else's time, but keep your eyes on the skies, bud, because that's the biggest thing I could ever say. How many people walk outside and don't bother looking up? And I notice that because I wear a baseball cap, and I believe that 100%. I don't think enough people are looking up in terms of this phenomenon.
That's right. You know, it's exactly right. And that is one of the most important things. Document your experience. But my also advice to everybody, and it's great advice what you just gave. Everybody listens to that very closely. But one of the most important things you could do, too, is film it, upload it to YouTube, and send that video to Third Phase. We want that video evidence. And let me tell you, we've got a lot of new UFO videos coming up in our next episode, some pretty amazing stuff. But I appreciate your call, man. And it sounds like your experience is incredible. I wish you luck on the next lottery that's coming around. If you want to give me a number, I'll ask my friends to buy one in California, and we'll see. I'll split the proceeds with you. How about that? Appreciate it, man.
It's only a three-way number. It's not the six-way. So, I mean, I have the proof. I still have the tickets here, the payoff tickets and everything. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty crazy. I couldn't even tell you. It's unbelievable, is what it is. So. I don't want to say I know the lottery numbers, because I don't, like the major lottery. But,
I understand. Yeah. Hey, thanks so much. Have that camera ready, and keep documenting. Keep in touch if anything else happens in the future. We're here at Third Phase. Appreciate the call in, man. You be safe.
Thanks, Blake. Thanks for picking up my call. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing, and we're going to be doing it soon, everybody. And this is the Third Phase of the Moon radio show, and it is a phenomenon in itself. Like I said, nobody on the planet's doing this. Nobody's opening up the lines and dedicating it 100% to the public. You, the people that have these experiences, and they really don't have anywhere to share these experiences, except for right here, Third Phase of the Moon. And it is the reason why Third Phase of the Moon is the #1 channel on the planet. Everybody's respecting it. You can see in the chat, everybody's been very respectful tonight. The premiere, doing this live stuff, interacting with you is really incredible, and interacting with the public as they call in. The dynamic is about fluidness and effectiveness of getting the information out, and I think we've accomplished that goal quite well. Everybody, be safe out there. Again, thanks for joining us. We'll be doing this real soon. Blake Cousins, be safe.